Hello, everyone. My name is Raffaele. I'm here to introduce you to A Frame Away, the graduation showcase of our course MA Animation at London College of Communication, where we're gonna present you our movies, showing our trailers, which you can watch afterwards. I'm gonna go first with my short animated movie, which is called The Red Pen. It's an unusual journey where I've been trying to represent our mind works and recreate images through memories. And I really hope you enjoy it. Here we are.
Have you ever wondered if the person who people see and the person you truly are necessarily the same?
Thank you for watching.
Thanks, Rafa. I'm Danny, and my film is called Lighter, and it's a dark fairy tale where a society of magical women use their hair to keep them grounded to the floor while two lovers try and escape and get freedom from the group. So I'm just going to show you my trailer. Just hand over to Delsin.
Thank you, Danny. I'm Delsin, and my graduation film is about my childhood memory and evolves with my sister and a world of imaginations. And here is my trailer.
小时候的夜晚，我和我妹妹会经常趁我妈不在的时候，从床上偷偷爬起来，看窗外的夜景。
Thank you.
Thank you, Delsin. Hello, this is my MA animation. My name is Evan Clifford. This is my short film, Virtual Circus. It is a psychedelic science fiction music video of a young man in solitude having a virtual experience, a visionary mystical experience during meditation, exploring ideas of otherworldly environments outside the human imagination, reflecting themes of the mystical, psychological, and philosophical. This is my trailer.
Hello guys, I'm Kia, and my graduation film name is Alona. The story is that there is a lonely boy on the planet. Day after day, he works very hard to keep his daily routine implemented. All the info he does is just waiting for. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jingjuan. My story is The Moon. It's about the moon with an astronaut. Here is my trailer. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jing. My story is called Butterfly Mother. It's inspired by a myth of an ethnic minority group from the southwest China. So the whole story is inspired by their embroidery. I created this fantasy story of Butterfly Mother traveling through forests upon my imaginary. I hope you can enjoy it. Here's my trailer.
Hi everyone, my name is Linxi, and my film is about the feeling of the we drink Coke after we feel thirsty, connection with the dessert of our heart. And here is my trailer. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Moses. My final animation trailer is called Conundrum. It's still a work in progress. It is about a little adventure story about a young boy who discovers an unknown land to him and has an unlikely encounter with a dark resident. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Xiaoyi Chang. My short film is about, the name is All's Life. Only the seeds that we can see all his life from birth to dies, and we can also see our own life through his. Here's my trailer.
Hi everyone. My name is Yige. My film is about a man feels responsible for a flower and is willing to go to great lengths to protect it from all the dangers in the world around them. And here is my trailer. That's it, thank you.
Hi, my name is Yuki, and my film is called Monkey. It's a 2D black and white film about addiction and the feeling of wanting to escape. So here's my trailer. Thank you.
Hi everyone. My name is project is named Memory in Flat 303, and it's about my memory in my grandparents' home, and which the room has been demolished in 2010. So I made an animated documentary to remember my childhood and all the memory about my family there. So let's enjoy the trailer.
Hi, my name is Alex and I'm from Greece. I made an autobiographical poetic film about an experience I had here in my island and with my family. So the film is about a man and a tree that came to life together. The man cherished the tree forever, and so when his sons were born, he planted 2 trees of the same kind. And those trees were poplars. So it explores a little bit an existential approach about how a soul is implanted to a natural space. And here's my trailer. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Chiara Pisanu. This is my graduation film called Child. It's a dark and dramatic story about the sense of emptiness, and it shows how human beings respond to loneliness with addictions. Here's my trailer, thank you.
So thank you so much for watching. These were the trailer for our movies. If you want to watch them, you can go on the UAR website of the MA Animation Graduation Showcase, and you can watch them from there. Thank you again. Have a lovely evening. Could it work?
Evening, everyone. Nice to see so many people have come to celebrate our films with us. We've got a little bit of time now for some questions. So some people have already been sending questions, which is great. So if you have a look down in the bottom bar, there's a little button that says Q&A, and you can write a question there. If you have a particular question for a particular animator, do say. Otherwise, I'm just going to read them out, and we can all just jump in and see who wants to answer things, because a lot of them are quite general, which is really nice. So if everyone can put their cameras on so we can answer some questions, so it's not just me.
È possibile avviare il video?
Magari te lo attivano solo appena è il tuo turno.
Cool. So I'll start off by reading some of the questions, and then if anyone wants to answer, just jump in, because a lot of these are just really general. So we've got the first question. So some of us, aren't here today live, because in some countries people are all in different places, and a lot of places people have already gone to bed. So we've just got a few of us here today. So the first question is about Rafa's film, and sadly he's not here right now. So we've got all the styles look so different. There's a lot of different personalities. Did you have the style before starting studying? So does anybody want to come into that about how their style came about?
I think it really depends person to person. I think personally, I never really had a consistent style. So I was just kind of like exploring it. Depends on like the project we're doing. And like for my final film, this is actually the first time I'm doing my film in this style. So yeah. Anyone else?
I mean, my style is, I think I really developed it during the course, but it still kind of looks similar to what I was doing before, but I think it kind of really developed from learning about movement and like how to display it within animation. Anybody else want to comment on their style at all, or shall I move
For
on?
me, I had my style ever since probably when I was 12. I don't know, I always liked drawing, and it was like my influence was anime, Japanese animation. And it grew from that, and I kept drawing and drawing and drawing and tried to develop it in my own way. I just like drawing in that particular style. So that's just for my animation, really. So, yeah.
Brilliant, great answers. So we've got, what was the best thing about making this short film? Who wants to comment on the best thing about making the film?
Yes. About my final major project, it's all about the family memory I have in China, because when we do our project, it's still in the coronavirus, the period of time. So it's very, for me, it's very cherished to have this chance to rebuild the connection with my family and all the childhood memory, and it's really great for me. Yeah, so
that's really lovely, almost therapeutic to be thinking about nice happy memories while you're away from your family.
Yeah,
that's lovely.
Is there anybody want to share the
I think for the short film, it's really you can focus on small things like some like personal issue and some memory, or even just a emotion. When you focus on a 3-minute animation, you really like pay all your attention to small things that help you to understand the things maybe you never think that way before. I think it's for animator and the audience, they both can inspire from short film. So that's very there's something like different from the full length film. Yeah,
brilliant, definitely. Anybody else want to comment on that one? Alrighty, so next we've got a nice easy one. Where are we all from? I'll start. England, boring. Anybody else want to come in and say where they're from?
America. Yeah, I came to England to study, so yeah.
Cool.
I'm from Italy. Hi. Yeah, and I'm from Hong Kong.
China. I'm from China.
Cool. So we've got another one. How did you find your own style? Kind of similar to the one we had before, but anybody want to talk about how they found their style?
For me, it wasn't a choice. It's just that I always try to develop and improve my style, and I never want to stop and say, okay, it's done. I found it already. I always want to improve myself, and for the black and white, it's just an aesthetical choice. It's just what I like, so.
I will agree with her. It's just what you like and what you dislike, and how you develop that style is just what makes you you. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like the style comes to you the more that you draw and create, rather than you kind of finding it almost. It's just like, literally like you say, it's just what you like, and then you then recreate that in your own way. Anybody else want to comment on their style? Or should I move on? Okey-dokey. Is it more important to express a concept through images or dialogue, and which one is easier in animation? Quite interesting, because I think not a lot of us have dialogue. Who has dialogue in their film? I know Rafa did.
Yeah,
Rafa had dialogue.
Yeah, Rafa did. Did anyone else have dialogue, or is it just one person?
I think Delsin and Anne. Anne, did you have a dialogue? Was it
Me, it's just a narration. It's not a dialogue. So maybe ask otherwise.
So I think maybe we all agree that image is maybe not more important, but we use images to communicate what we're trying to say more than what dialogue would say.
I'm gonna add to that, but I would say for me personally, I would have loved to do dialogue, but it's time consuming.
Yeah,
it's the truth right now because we didn't have a lot of time, as well as the coronavirus and all of that. So yeah, I had to think about whether or not do I have time for this, or can I animate this, or have a person that, you know, would voice act for you, and you have to do multiple tests to make sure that the sound is proper. Even for my animation, or at least the test is not the best. Even now, I could have done better if I had better tools to operate with. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Lip sync is always a challenge with animation.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think a lot of us, it was not necessarily a style choice, but also it was a bit simpler to go for not having any dialogue. I know that.
True.
Yeah, bit of both.
And the truth here, you know, yeah.
Yeah, but by the way, one time I talked with Michael Ho, and he told me that sometimes it's not necessary to use too much word to express what you want to say, because the image and the sound can also to deliver some information. Yeah, and it's sometimes can be much more impressive to deliver your feeling, and I think it's better than just use words or sentence to say, simply say. Yeah, I think.
For my film, I choose to not have dialogues, not only because it would have took a lot of time, but also because I chose to use music and sound design instead of words. Music and sound design mixed with images and illustrations, because my concept was very metaphoric. So that's why I chose to use just illustrations and not actual dialogues and words.
Yeah,
agree.
I think it's a lot about the images for us, definitely. Brilliant. Okay, next question. Will people be submitting to festivals? Yes. Anybody else can be submitting to festivals?
I would like to.
When it's done.
Yeah,
we'll
exactly. When my
it's done, we'll talk about it. You know?
When it's done, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Cool. So did you also work on the sound design? So I think some people had sound designers, some people did it themselves. Who did their own sound design?
I didn't work on my sound design by myself, but I collaborate with an Italian sound designer, Riccardo Colombelli, and he didn't just work on the sound design, but he produced the music by himself as well.
And I think same for Jinn. She's not here at the moment, but I think she went out to record sound for her film, because her film is about this minority group in China. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. So.
Yeah, Jinn's one is really special.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I also recorded some of my own sound. I have woods near where I live, so I went out and recorded in the woods and then put that in the film. Anybody else want to talk about their sound?
Yeah, I did quite the same in terms of sound. I went out to the fields and I recorded natural small sounds from olive trees. That is quite local here. And yeah, it's exciting to incorporate that to 3D animation. Yeah, it was really fun and challenging, because when you are outside, you have to be careful how to record air, and microphones are really sensitive. So it was quite fun, and kind of worked as a methodology to how to organize the rest of the film. And yeah, I knew it was very nice.
And it also incorporated the themes of your film, didn't it, Alex? Because your film's about your hometown, right? It's about like growing up where you are. So then you recorded like the actual sounds of where you are.
Yeah, it was like recording memories in a way. It was very interesting. And I couldn't find the sounds online also. Yeah.
And also copyright. Anybody else want to chat about their sound?
I will read the next question. It's about you.
Okay.
So Don asks Danny, I have a question for Danny. What was the inspiration behind your animation?
Inspiration. It was films that I really like to watch. So I was really inspired by like Midsummer and The Witch and kind of folk horror and things like that. And it was also thinking about the idea of breaking free and freeing yourself from kind of what you think that you should be doing to what you actually want to be doing. And it kind of, the whole thing came from when I shaved my head when I was in uni, and the idea that we have around hair and femininity and how freeing that felt for me to just shave it off. So it kind of came from that idea of cutting off hair, and then I kind of explored what that could then represent in a kind of fantasy narrative. So yeah, that basically.
And may I ask you something?
Of course.
Is there a specific reason why there are only females to your film, or
Sure. Yeah, good question.
just random?
Well, it was kind of about, because it's about femininity, and it's also about the relationship between the two women. And when I was doing research for the film, I found this Scandinavian folklore about the Huldra, who are like kind of sirens that live in the forest in Scandinavia and lure men in and stuff. And I really liked the idea of these kind of mystical women that will just live together in the forest. So I kind of just wanted to focus on the women in that. And also I literally just prefer drawing women than men. So that was kind of another reason that I just wanted to draw girls. So yeah, that's pretty much why.
Cool, thanks.
That's right. Does anybody else want to read the questions, or should I go on reading them?
Yeah, go on.
Ryan asks, what element of your film did you find the most challenging? What things did you try that were out of your comfort zone? Anybody want to comment on that?
Should I start? Okay, go on.
Me? Yeah.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
For my film, the character design, it was very detailed. That was the most challenging, as well as making it move in very dynamic camera angles. I don't know, so if you go and see the full film, eventually you'll see that I put a lot of effort into different ways of moving the camera around a particular character, looking back. How do I say this? I wanted to make something look, how do I say this? Yeah, something simple, like running down, I don't know, a hallway. I wanted to make it look visually pleasing, and that was the hardest part about it. And I wanted to try and do that with every single scene, like almost every single scene. Some of them I still need to work on to make it a little better, but that's the challenging part, at least for my film. Yeah.
Cool, great answer. Alex, someone else wanted to say something? Who was next?
Yeah, I have a couple of notes there. It was hard in terms of hardware and doing everything from home and through your own laptop. And but the most difficult part was like during this crazy time, even though you had plenty of free space and time, you couldn't be actually dedicated 100% to something, because mind wants to escape, and it was really hard to be disciplined and follow a structure that other people are helping each other inside university. So yeah, being concentrated from home, it's really hard, and film is a very hard procedure in general. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to work on the studio or something like that, like home enough.
Definitely being isolated and doing all of it yourself, like especially with when you're doing all the sound design yourself, as well as all the animation, direction, trying to manage yourself like a team. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to comment on that?
Yeah, I think for most animator, like the narrative is the most challenging things because we are not screenwriter, especially for this one. Most of us work just by ourselves. So telling a story to ourselves is very easy because we know the story. So whatever the way we tell the story for ourselves is very clear. But for people who listen to the story, especially like we have different cultural background, and we have some like different life experience, and like we have different way to express emotions. So it's being difficult to make the story understandable to everyone. So during the process, we have to keep invite audience, invite people to watch it. So for example, like myself, I think I asked about like more than 20 people to watch the film all the time. Every time I make a decision, I will ask around them, ask my friends, my family, and to see if they can understand it or not. I think it's very important to keep communicate with people. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thank you, Igor. And for me, the most challenging thing is to both add live action and animation in one short film. So what I do is to just use a very simple, like, how to say that? Because the film is divided into different years, like 1980 and 1990. So I use the old television picture to make it look like we are watching a recording of the 1980, and then the camera go back to the reality, so it go back to the reality animation. So how to say, the change of the time is, I think, the most difficult part in my film, and I try to make it looks very fluent. So hope you think it's good. That's it.
Cool, brilliant. I'll move on to the next question then. We've got some really great answers for that question. This one, I think, what they're trying to ask is, what did this project represent for each of us? I don't know if that's right. What you asked, what represented for us each project, this project. So anyone want to talk about the representation behind their work, their film?
For me, my work represents, I think that it could be a way to represent what every person in the world feels, because it's about emptiness, but not the personal feeling. It's more like a common feeling.
Thanks, Clara. Anyone else? What does your work represent? Anything you want to say about? Kia, Linxi, haven't heard much from you. Do you want to comment on that at all? Come on, Kia.
Okay, well, my final project want to talking about loneliness and love. I want to discuss when someone really loves another one. It's like when we love someone, it's truly loving a different individual on just our self-projection. So I put this concept in my final project and want to make the audience think about this topic. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, it's beautiful and definitely makes you think about that. Anybody else want to talk about what their film represents? Or should I go on? Alrighty. Was it difficult to make the movies during the pandemic, or was it easier? Anybody want to talk about that?
Okay, I think I can say something about that. For me, it was way harder because I did not have the software necessary to start. I had to have TV Paint, but I couldn't use it. So I made my animation on Clip Studio Paint, all of it, because I couldn't get the code to use it on time. So I had to start now because of the amount of complexity with certain scenes that will take a long time to make. And I had to more organize my time quite properly so that at least I will have something to present. So yeah, that's the difficulty for me personally. I don't know about you guys, but that's for me. And that's it. So
yeah, definitely. If you've got the right software, it can make things a lot harder and more time consuming. Yeah. Anybody else want to chat?
For me, in my experience, it has been very difficult to find motivation during the pandemic, especially because we spent a lot of time at home, and obviously when you are, inside your house, you can't really be motivated, but from internet and, maybe other artists or events that you see on social media, but nothing more than that. But also it was easier from another point of view because I wasn't distracted at all, because I wasn't able to go anywhere. So like I could just, stay at home and work on my film. So
yeah, definitely. It's just like you have so much time to work on it, but just with no break.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just every day the same. You get a lot done, but it's like the feeling that you're having while you're doing it.
Indeed, but yeah, the only thing that was caused by pandemic is like the less motivation, the lack of motivation. Sorry.
And I think also like normally when we're in the studio, we can see what each other is doing, like how are we getting on with our film, and then we can like give feedback to each other. But obviously now everything's by Zoom, we don't really get to see each other, right? I think that's a shame as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that going to university every day, especially in a city like London, gives you a lot of motivation, because you not only see other people's work, but also you are surrounded by every kind of art that makes you feel more, I don't know, artistic, I guess.
Yeah, it makes you feel inspired to see everyone else's work and
yeah,
be in a place where everyone's doing the same thing and you have that community. Anybody else want to comment on pandemic?
For me, during the lockdown, my time organization is also very difficult, and my internet is always unstable. It's my biggest difficult.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I remember just before we handing, my computer broke down and it's going to the blue screen, and I'm really panic. What happened?
Oh my goodness, you poor thing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I have to go out and to repair my computer, and But when I go out, I feel, oh, I'm so happy. I just forgot what happened to my computer.
Oh, bless you. Oh. But do you get it all fixed in the end and submitted?
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. So you're overcoming technical difficulties as well. Cool. Cool. Next question. Where do you see yourself at the end of the project? Well, I suppose the project is ended now. So what's kind of everyone's next plans?
Job.
What kind of job are you looking for?
Right now, I'm going to try and find a job that's, falls into my skills at the moment. Because, as you know, for me, I feel like my animation is more like a showcase of my skill, what I can do. And hopefully that will land me a good job. So, yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Anybody else have any plans?
Yeah, I would like to attend a Master of Illustration because I really like to draw, and I think it's clear from my projects that yes, I am an animator, but I really love illustration, and so that's why I would like to improve my illustration skills, but also submit my film to some festivals, obviously when it's gonna be done.
Brilliant, sounds like a great plan.
But yes, go ahead with animation and illustration both, because I really love both of those fields.
You're not alone.
I actually want to learn 3D animation because I really love Alex, what he did. Yeah, I also want to try to add more 3D part in my animation. Yeah.
Awesome. Alex, maybe you can give some tutorials.
I believe that we have to take into consideration that every field now is under recovery, and we have to be really patient. The time that comes now can be a bit difficult, but we have to express and communicate our feelings and movements from now on, and really focus on certain things so you're not lost in this vagueness of, just searching around and don't know what to do. So yeah, and if we're not selected or take any job quickly, it's not really about us, but it's about that they really want specific things now, and they will never ask you or tell you why you are rejected. So yeah, it's gonna be a hard time, but at least we can see it as a free space and time to explore, and
definitely.
Everything is under recovery, so it's not only on us.
Yeah, good thing to remember, definitely. Cool. So this next question is for Chiara. I really liked Chiara's movie. I can see a lot of strong image. Is it easier to show pain or happiness in an animation? Very interesting question.
Yeah, very interesting question. Thank you, whoever you are, for the question. Yes, I do have, I know that I do have a strong way of represent things with my illustration. I mean, I have a peculiar style. It's not minimal for sure. I think that maybe it's easier to represent the pain because pain is kind of a stronger emotion. I mean, that's my opinion, but maybe when you are happy and everything is going good, you are very distracted by many things. You just want to enjoy your happiness. And on the contrary, when you're feeling in pain, you're sad or you are angry, you feel lonely, you kind of use art sometimes in my case, illustration and animation, to canalize your feelings and your emotions. And sometimes it's an easier way to represent how you feel, and also to communicate with others, because sometimes telling things by words is very difficult. So maybe you can use your art or your skills in music or dance, or I don't know, cooking, to express yourself. Yeah, but thank you for the question.
Brilliant answer, definitely. Does anyone else want to comment on that? Pain versus happiness animation? No, I think I definitely agree with you, Chiara. Like,
yeah, you do.
It's so true. Like happiness, you're just like, you're happy, you're doing your own thing, and you can concentrate on other things. But when you're really in pain, I mean, that's like what you concentrate on. So then it's much more intense sometimes to then translate into art.
Exactly. In the end, it's just you and your white paper and how you're gonna manage to express yourself with that.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. So next question, kind of like similar idea. Is the film partly about you?
Because I know that all of my pensions are in one place, and I know exactly how
much. As regard my film, mine wasn't about me, as I already said before. It was about the collective sense of emptiness. So it's kind of about everyone in their own way. But yes, I can also see myself in that, because I can see everyone's story. So
yeah, definitely very relatable at the moment. Anyone else's film? Obviously, Alex, yours was very autobiographical, wasn't it?
Well, for me, Alex first. Oh, okay, my turn. I want to say yes, because maybe I experience some things on some emotion. I want to express this feeling, so I put this emotion and package in my animation. So yeah, I think the film is partly about me. Yeah.
Lovely. Anybody else want to answer that one?
I want to hear about Alex's story, because it's
Alex, chat about yours a bit more.
Like what the film is about, or
yeah.
Okay, so it's like basically reproducing a memory of me approaching an estate full of trees, of olive trees, and my father planted 2 trees when me and my brother were born, and he had one from himself. Like, so there are 3 trees in a row, and they're kind of representing our bonding. And for anyone else could be just 3 trees, but for me it's a very strong connection that I have with nature, and that became really strong after the loss of the father. So his soul somehow is implanted to a tree, and the story is about me returning back to that, and I found it quite poetic to create an animation about this whole connection with the tree and the earth, and existence in general. So it explores personal things, and I'm happy. I wanted to do it prior to this master, and I had the chance now. But through this master, influence of Lizzie and Kim, like I work with 2D techniques like watercolor painting things, and as well as with those laboratories that we have in LCC. So I wanted to incorporate 2D techniques to a 3D, and I'm still exploring that. I think it has a lot of potential, and yeah, mostly those things.
Brilliant. That's a really beautiful story. I'm really glad you got to explore your memories of your dad. That's really lovely. Cool. So last question that we've got. Great work. Just wondering, will any of you collaborate and produce something together in the future? It's a really nice question.
Debatable. One day, you know, you never know.
I hope we will. I think we should. Like,
yeah.
I mean, for the beginning animation, that was a collaboration from all of us. So in a way, we have done that already. We did all of our different styles of hand coming together at the begining.
I hope so.
True.
But yeah, maybe we should do something longer. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
It was super quick and easy, that technique, and super interesting. Like,
yeah.
We could definitely do a minute of that with something else.
Yeah, definitely. It worked out really well. Awesome. Well, thank you so much to all the lovely people that submitted questions. In the chat, you can see all of our links to our graduate showcase pages, so you can go and watch the full films there, and also on the MA animation Vimeo. They're all on there. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone that came and watched us.
Sorry, Danny.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we just add some questions like each other as we have?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do that.
Because I would really like to, for instance, ask IKEA what this kind of theme park means to your film. It's like, you know, like a theme park that the main character and its ghost, like its shadow, visiting together. So that was really interesting. I would like to know what's the inspiration behind it.
Well, okay, because as I mentioned, the concept in my film is talking about love. When you really love a person, it's about you really love the individual, or you just self-projection. So why the other character is shadow? I mean, the main character is shadow, because I want to say the shadow also is part of himself. So maybe the shadow is part of yourself. It's not the different person. Yeah, that's my answer.
That's really lovely, IKEA. So you were saying like that when you love someone, they're kind of part of you. They're not a separate person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really lovely and important to remember at the moment when we can't like be together. It's really lovely. Does anybody else have any questions for each other before we wrap up?
Or maybe anyone else that wants to comment something about their films or ideas behind them, because there are really interesting moments there.
I mean, all our contact details are on our graduate showcase pages. So once anyone's watched the full film, has any burning questions, I'm sure any of us will be really happy to answer any questions over Instagram DM, or I think all our emails are on there as well. So if anyone thinks of anything else, then we're on, yeah, all of our things. It's just been posted to the chat, our student portfolios as well. So there's all contact details on there and where you can watch the full films. Anybody else got anything they want to say at the moment?
And yeah, like if anyone want any collaboration, feel free to contact us. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We're all free and looking for work at the moment, so or most of us. I don't know about everyone. So yeah, all the links are up there. Kim's just posted. So yeah, the password for everything is MAALCC. To view all the films, there's a password because some of them have got passwords on. So yeah, if there's a password, it will be that for all of them. So nice and easy to remember. Brilliant.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming, everyone. Thank you to everyone that submitted questions. Thank you to all of my lovely classmates and to Kim and to the lovely tech people at LCC for setting this up. It's been really great.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thanks for
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a lovely evening, everyone.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.